Hi, good morning. It's Sunday morning. It is the 3rd of May, and I'm David Wright, and I want to talk to you quickly in this little podcast about how I learned to speak Spanish here in Spain. Okay, so I think now my Spanish is pretty good. I've been married to a Spanish girl for 14 years now, and we speak Spanish most of the time in the house. Most of my friends are Spanish, and I live in an area which is predominantly Spanish people. There's almost no English people where I live, so I think my Spanish is pretty good. I can't read and write Spanish particularly well, although I did manage to pass my Spanish motorbike test 18 months ago, and that was in Spanish, so I think that was quite an achievement really. But I'm going to talk to you a little bit today about how I actually learnt to speak Spanish, and I think it's quite an unusual way, and it's a fast way of learning Spanish here. Okay, so this year marks my 24th year of living and working in Spain, and for the first 2 years here, I didn't really speak any Spanish at all. I worked for a British company here doing some renovations and building work not far from Almeria, in a place called Tabernas up in the mountains, and the boss's son spoke Spanish. He was born and bred here in Spain, and Spanish was very good, so he did all the ordering and speaking of the Spanish to all the builders, the tradespeople that work for us, and the clients. So I didn't really need to, but I went self-employed after 2 years of working for him, and that is when I really hit a brick wall. My Spanish was pretty bad, non-existent really, and I needed to learn fast. So I did go to a Spanish school here. I signed up for some lessons, and the very first day I realised that was a mistake. Sitting in a class of adults going through the verbs comes, comais, comemos, comen, past, present, future tense. This was absolutely a nightmare to me. Never liked school as a kid in the UK, let alone in Spain here, sitting in a class of adults. Also, add to that, I do suffer from dyslexia, so reading and writing has always been a struggle for me anyway. Spelling is atrocious, as many of my followers have learned, but hasn't stopped me building my own house here in Spain and running several businesses, and I now live in a house that is worth €1 million, and I have a fantastic life here. But I digress a little bit. So how can you learn Spanish quick and easy here? The best way, everybody is different obviously, but the best way I have found is that I did role play classes. I did have some private Spanish lessons where I did role play with my teacher. Now what we did was that I set it up with him, and I said, look, I need to go and order my materials for my work, which was carpentry and building. So one day my teacher was the boss of a window company, so I went in and said, hello, good morning, how are you, all the chit chat, and I'm here to order some windows. How big, what colour, what size do you want? All words related to what I was actually going to say in the shop. Then we did that as a supermarket and as a clothes shop, and buying other materials, ferreterias, which is a DIY shop, things like that, going into the builders merchants to buy wood. We went through different types of wood, how big, how thick, how long, do you want it now, how are you paying, all the words I used, and I went out straight after those lessons and actually go and use that words and vocabulary in a real life situation. So that helped a lot. I did that for a couple of months or so, not long really. And then what I decided to do was go and join a load of clubs. So I joined a Spanish walking club. This is predominantly Spanish, no English people there at all. I was the only one. And they went out every Sunday for afternoon walks. I went out every other Sunday with this club, and I got to talk to people as I'm out walking, got to speak to them, and I put myself in uncomfortable positions. Like I went up to people and I just chatted to them in my terrible Spanish at the time, but I didn't care. I didn't know anybody, they didn't know me really, so what does it matter? I just used them to learn some language, and I met some great people, made some great friends. During that time, I found some people that were in a mountain climbing club, so I joined that, hiking and mountain climbing, and I became I did some courses on rock climbing here and got qualified in rock climbing as a first climber. Climbers know what that is. And then I went with some other the girls that were on the walking club. I went to salsa dancing classes with them, way out of my comfort zone, but I met some people there and I started using my Spanish, talking to people. And that is actually how I met my Spanish wife. But yeah, going out and joining these clubs, I was in about 4 or 5 different clubs. It's all free to join these clubs. There's social events and clubs at the local town hall. And this is what really helped me learn Spanish fast here, using it constantly. Now, I was out pretty much every day of the week, including Saturday and Sundays. After work, I was out at my clubs, mixing with people, and I just made sure that I was absolutely immersing myself 100% in the Spanish language and practicing it as much as I could, and that was how I learnt Spanish. It took me a couple of years, but very, very quickly I did start to learn how to have basic conversations within a few weeks or so. So yeah, get out and join these private clubs. Also, try role play with your teacher. I think that paying extra money for a private lesson and being specific about what it is you want to learn and the way that you will learn makes a big difference. I don't think there's any need to read and write Spanish until you've been here several years. That's not necessary. If you can speak it, you can get through Spanish bureaucracy quite easily without that. And now with ChatGPT and things like that, reading and writing Spanish is pretty much irrelevant. You can do it all on a computer or even on your mobile. So there. But speaking it one-on-one, face-to-face is what is really important. And no apps can really help you with that. It's best to get out and do it face to face. So I hope that has helped. That's how I learnt to speak Spanish. And if you think that's been of help, please leave a like or comment below. Thanks for listening. Have a great weekend.